Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another video from Laughing Rock. Today, we're focusing in on the LRTPBX phone system and some changes that are taking place to two of the mobility applications you have access to. So if you weren't familiar or you just forgot, your LRTPBX extension includes three mobility applications. You have the smartphone application, you have the desktop application, which you're seeing on my screen right now. You also have a browser portal that you can log into. And these just give you the ability to really connect to your extension from anywhere. They're wonderful. Personally, I prefer to always work from my desktop app, but these really give you the option to kind of match your preference with what you like to work with. This video is going to focus in on the desktop application and the browser portal to some extent. We are not going to dive into the smartphone application simply because that UI remains the same. So there's really nothing to see there. If you haven't used this smartphone application or you just like, a simple walkthrough of it, please give us a call. Always happy to help and walk you through that. You can reach us at 610-678-1978. We can help you get that provisioned out and walk you through it. Without much further ado, though, let's dive into these applications because it's a pretty nice UI refresh if I don't, say so myself. I find this, especially a desktop app, to be a nice modern feel versus the old style desktop application that was part of LRTPBX. And if our video editing skills are any good, we'll pop in a quick screenshot of that just so you have a refresher. Or you can just look at yours if you haven't received this update quite yet. So if you haven't received it, it is rolling out to all the systems. It is a phased rollout that we're taking. Phased approach is probably a better way of putting it to rolling this out. So if you don't have it, this is your preview. If you do have it, this is just kind of your tutorial on what you're seeing. So let's start with a quiz. Right now I have the desktop application pulled up. So let's take a quick look at that and let's see how good your memory is here. Desktop application, browser application. Okay, one more look. Desktop application, browser portal. So let's play a little spot the difference. Do you notice anything that's different between these two? Yeah, there's a couple things. For the most part, the browser portal and the desktop application are mirrored to one another. The only two differences that you'll see are these two buttons here. So this first one is just telling you to allow notifications on the browser so that if you're getting an incoming call, the portal can let you know that a call is coming through. Just hit that, it'll spark that request and you can just hit yes. The other tool here, and you'll see that disappeared actually once I interacted with it. The other tool here is this Windows icon, which is just an icon to allow you to download the desktop app, which I personally recommend for any of your personal, devices, your dedicated PC or laptop. Feel free to download that. Having that standalone, in my opinion, is just a much smoother, especially if you're like me and your Chrome ends up with 75, 80 tabs instead of having to bounce back and forth. But all you have to do is hit that button, hit the install button. It's going to download, install it to your PC. Once you've logged into that, you can just simply provision it, and now you're good to go. So we will actually move away from the browser portal. If you do want to dig into this a little bit more, again, give us a call. Gave our phone number here a few seconds ago. We'll also give it at the end of the video, but we can walk you through this. But everything we're going to take a look at desktop application minus where things kind of live. For example, if I'm in the desktop application, I want to make a phone call, I can hit this phone, and you'll see I have an independent window for the dialer. If I'm in the browser portal, if I hit that, it's going to pop out from the side. So it's not giving you a separate window. It's not opening in a new tab or anything like that. It's all going to be self-contained. That's really the differences here. Self-contained in the browser portal and a little more, I don't know what the proper term is here, but you get some more mobility, some more functionality. No, that's not necessarily true. You get more vision into the app as you're in an active call to some extent. So let's move away from the browser tool. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to keep this open because I do want to do a live call and I'm logged into my browser extension there. But let's jump back over to the desktop application. I'll keep that full size. I prefer to keep mine kind of shrunk down. It's just not like things eating up too much of my window if they don't have to. But for demonstration's sake, full screen is perfect. So this first page I'm on here is our people page. This is typically what you'll see when you log in. And again, people page is no different than the old people or contacts page, internal contacts page. Gives me a quick look at some of my contacts and I can just really get a quick idea of who's available. Like this green bar here, who's in do not disturb, who may be on a call, those type of things. Now, in terms of my own status, I can control that at the top left here. You'll see just the drop down, clicking on that person icon. I can swap over to one of my statuses. I can edit these statuses and change the message that goes along. Like for example, this away says I'm grabbing lunch because that's typically what I put up when I'm grabbing lunch, or do not disturb for any time I'm in a meeting. So I can do that, and my colleagues would see that similar for me in uh, my own extension here. Kind of carrying along, and actually, I'm going to minimize this just to show you what this looks like as well, because I do like to operate this way a lot. So I'm on the people page. I want to make a quick call. Say I wanted to call Debbie. I can just scroll over here, hit that phone icon, and give her a ring. Maybe I wanted to send her or meet with her through a screen share video chat. Can do that this way. Or I want to pop open my chat window, send her a message. All quick actions that are available to you as you're in this people window. And again, looks similar here, just kind of stacked differently. Still have all those same options. Can also add them to favorites and some additional uh, actions, quick actions that we can take here. If I did have personal contacts saved on this page, I could hide them or show them. I don't have any in my tool, but simply could show or hide them here. I can also spark a new call, a new chat, add a new contact right from this window. Pretty simply fill out the information, hit save. Obviously, you can add to the company phone book still as well if you wanted to. So that's our people tab. We do have a few options in terms of flipping through. So you have all groups, favorites, and your default contacts. Can make that switch as you feel necessary. So moving down the left side here, let's take a look at the chat. Again, we kind of saw this as I was demoing a chat to Debbie, but chat does have its own dedicated window as it did in the past. You can just pull up the chat window. You have a historical record of your recent chats with folks and be able to take a look at those. Meet is now built in to this tool. You could always schedule a meeting, but if I go ahead and click this, and you can actually see me there, I'll go ahead and turn all this stuff off so we don't have any interference. I can kick off a quick meeting, send a link to people, and be able to meet right through this window instead of having to go to the browser. I also do have the ability to look at any of my scheduled conferences. I don't have any scheduled conferences. How do I schedule a conference? Not a problem. Hit the plus sign, and you still have all those options here. So audio, video, webinar. You do have some control settings on the webinar side of things still as well, but they all live self-contained here. When I wanted it to happen, am I kicking it off now? Do I want to do it later? Subject, participants. Do have a few options in terms of, let me pop over to a video one here, of how we want to deliver this. You can have the tool email people out. You can send your own calendar holder. There are a couple of different options here. Go ahead and cancel that, and we could take those meetings. Scheduled meetings will still open up in your browser, not a problem. It's just those quick meetings that you can host right from inside of here. Just as a little tip. So continuing down this left side here, can go look at all of the calls or the call history with this calls button here. So see, I have a list of calls that were ingoing, outgoing. If I want to filter these, I do have that option here on the top right. Just take a look at incoming, outgoing, any missed calls or anything that may have been abandoned. And just flipping through there. The panel. So this is the management panel that was always part of the old desktop application, popped out a new window for you, which you can still do. But if you just wanted to pop in and out and not have something else taking up your screen, you do have the ability to do it here. Uh, we can see we still have all of the cues. We do have the wallboard tool still available. Any upcoming maybe extension reminders. If I did want to pop this out, just hit that icon there, and now I have it live in a separate one. Maybe I want to pull it to a different screen or something of that nature. Sorry, I shook my mouse, pulled it all the way. I'm going to go ahead and close that. All right, so we've looked at the panel. Now we got these three dots here. So what is hidden behind the three dots? Let's take a look. Again, we can get into that contact section. So these are any saved contacts for myself or any network, company-wide contacts. And we can just flip through. As you can see, I don't really have a lot saved here, but you do still have your contacts menu available to you down here in the three dots. You can also access your voicemail here if your voicemail is remaining on your extension. If you're set up the way a lot of clients prefer, where that audio message is converted to an email and sent to you as an attachment, you're not going to see those here. But if you did have these tying to your phone and living on your phone, you would see them all here. And then this last little bit here is the settings. So if we pop into the settings here, you can see all the same things. Again, just a more refreshed user interface. General stuff is still here. Any chat settings, what kind of notifications we want to see. Audio, video, this is one I always like to point out, because if you are like me and sometimes swap between different headsets, you need to know where this is, simply to make sure that your headsets are configured properly. Like right now, I'm running a wired mic just for recording purposes. Oftentimes, I'm using Bluetooth. But if I was going to make calls through this, or someone called me and I was like, I can't find my other headset, I can go into here and just swap it over to whatever I have on my ears at the time. So again, you're going to go to settings and then just pick audio video, and you'll see which device. This is where you're going to specify what device you prefer. I do have a desk phone in the office. I am logged in on my smartphone. I prefer the desktop app, so I have that set as taking all my calls here. So I want to make sure that's set properly, and I'm good to go. Where do I want this to ring through? What tools? What camera I'm going to use for any web meetings? What speakers are going to pull out for me? And then what's leveraging my microphone. If you do have a dedicated headset that integrates with LRTPBX, you can select that specific one down here. Some changes or some settings relating to the view that you have. I'm not going to make any changes there or really walk through those, but you do have that here. Status and setting custom away messages. As you can see, there's that grabbing lunch. A little more control than what you see here, but you do have that tool here as well. Maybe you have specific messages that you want to give when people call in and hit your voicemail. You can customize those here and select which ones are which would be these greetings here that are recorded, and then just in the status we can select the different messages here. So sorry, I'll go into away. We're going to direct to voicemail, and here's where I apologize. Here is where we can select which one we're going to play. So you can see I just have one recording, my default, but you could certainly upload a new one for each of these different individual statuses. Integration, not really going to go into this, is more for the advanced stuff. The scan QR code. So if you remember in the past, you often had to go to the browser, scan a QR code to set up your mobile application. This is all integrated here, and you can access this in two places. You have the scan QR code here, or the scan QR code here. So from anywhere, so if I'm on the people page, I can just hit this QR code in the top right, scan it with my mobile app, and provision my phone. Or if we really want to click around, we can just dig into the settings here and click that code. The BLF refers to what is set up on our speed dials on the physical phone. I'm not going to go into this because this is typically set up from the get-go for you, but you can make changes yourself here. And this is the one I like the most, is the hotkeys. So if you're like me and you like to just pop around on your keyboard, you can set yourself some custom hotkeys to open the dialer, copy a number that maybe you've copied off of a website or a CRM record. You can pull that up. Want to just quickly answer without having to physically move, stop what you're doing, move your mouse and do these things. So like on my, and I believe it should work while I'm in this window. If I just want to open my dialer, I can hit Alt D and it's going to pop open my dialer for me. If I had a number, I could just hit Alt C, it's going to pop that dialer and add it for me. And all I have to do is hit call. You can see I've customized these. So if you're like me and you like that keyboard hotkey stuff, set them here. It's actually an excellent feature that I truly enjoy. Um, this last little bit here, I believe the apps are just going to point you to some extensions and the Android app where you can download those. And that really takes care of taking a look inside the portal part of LRTPBX's desktop app. Again, all of that is pretty similar on the browser tool, but let's take a look at one more thing here. Let's take a look at the dialer tool. One thing I really like about the desktop app is it pops this out, and I still have access to all of this stuff here. Whereas if you remember with the previous version of the desktop application, you were in the dialer and you kind of lived there, and you could flip through, but it wasn't, a lot of clicking going on. What this allows me to do is have this separated, have my active call pulled off to the side here, and if I needed to say transfer a call, I can just pop into the portal, the desktop portal here, and take a look at who's available. So I don't even have to bother trying to figure out who's available and where they're at. Are they in? Are they out? All that good stuff. But you'll see here, dialer is straightforward. You can use your keypad to type in an extension, or you can click the buttons as you always could. I do have the ability to initiate a video call right from here. I'm going to go ahead and call my demo extension. So I'm going to pop over here. 1 second. Mute. All right. So got everything muted there so I don't have a bunch of echoing in my ear. But you'll see here as I'm in my call, maybe I'm off doing something else. I can certainly go do something else. That call stays active. It lives here separately. If you're running multiple monitors, you can pull it out, pull it off somewhere. All those features are still available to us here. Hold, add a new call, so open up a new line and call someone else. Initiate a three-way conference call, pull in another caller. Just do a blind transfer. So hit the transfer, enter the extension you're transferring to, and it'll send them over right away. You can still do an attended transfer. So hit the attended transfer, enter the extension, talk to that person first, and then send the call through. Turn on and off recordings. Maybe you had to call into one of your vendors, or a customer has an 800 number and you need to get through the menu options. Open up our keypad and follow that, or kick this over to a video call. And kick it over to a video call. That is the desktop application. You'll see the browser still gives us all of those options as well. So all the same things here. It's just going to live within this. So that concludes our look at LRTPBX's UI refresh. Hopefully, we were able to achieve, I know it's a short video, but hopefully we were able to achieve a good preview or just a decent walkthrough for anyone who may have this refresh already installed for their phone system. If you have any questions moving forward, please do not hesitate to give us a call. You can call us at 610-678-1978. Feel free to shoot us an email to support@laughingrock.com. We're always happy to help and always happy to walk you through this. Again, thanks for joining us today, and hopefully you learned something. See you next time.